Hey girls, so in this video we're going to be running through Tracking 101, how to track your nutrition on the SWS app. Okay, really important here that we do make sure that we're tracking in correctly, accurately, so we can smash our nutrition, smash our goals and actually see progress as well. So I'm going to keep this as short and sweet as possible, but making sure that I'm hitting everything as well. When we go into nutrition, right, and in the Nutrition 101 you will see our calories are broken down into three macronutrients: our protein, our carbs, and our fats, okay? So when we're tracking, we're focusing on our calories and we're focusing on our macronutrients, okay? For our macronutrients, they are broken down into three: protein, carbs, fats. For protein, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So all of these numbers, 155 by 4, 196 by 4, 55 by 9 equals 1,899. So that equals your calories, okay? Just so you have a bit of an understanding behind this, okay? So how are we going to actually track our nutrition on the app? This is the dashboard of the app. You're going to come down here where it says nutrition. When you come into this, it'll show you your targets, okay? So calories here, protein here, carbs here, and fats here. And there's a little circle here. This will work its way up as you add in the food, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to add in your meal. So you click add meal and then you come to here. You'll search up your food. You can also use the barcode to scan the back of the food packaging, which is so handy. If for whatever reason it doesn't pop up, you can create your own food. So you can put in the brand, the details that are on the back of the packaging as well, okay? The more that we use this, the more we can click into our recent and we can find the foods that we have regularly, okay? So that's just the baseline of how to actually track on the app. From there, when you click into a food, okay, just keep an eye here on the bottom, right? I searched up oats for this example. It will always automatically go to 100 grams. It doesn't mean we've eaten 100 grams. So the main thing here is to make sure the amount you're tracking in on the app is the same amount you are weighing out and consuming, okay? Really important here. I know it sounds really obvious, but you'd be surprised. Sometimes we can forget to change these grams, okay? So make sure to weigh food and input the correct serving size. Always weigh in grams or milliliters if it is a fluid. No cups, no tablespoons, no teaspoons, okay? It's not an accurate measurement. Make sure it's in grams. I cannot stress that enough, okay? If we are tracking in tablespoons, cups, it's not accurate, and we're going to wonder why. Even though we're tracking our calories and we're hitting our targets, we're not seeing the progress that we want to see. And that's going to be down to us actually tracking in correctly, okay? So we're going to cut that from the start and just double check to make sure that it actually matches the back of the packaging here as well, okay? Different foods, different brands might have slightly different calories, so just double check them, okay? So what we can do here then is when we input our breakfast, for example, and I have it here, my oats, my whey protein, my raspberries and my peanut butter, okay? What you can do here, and it will break it down here, as you can see, the calories, it's breaking it down into the protein, the carbs and the fats. There'll be a little button here that looks like a copy button, right? If you click that, it will come up copy meal from date or copy meal to date. You can click copy meal to date and add that in for tomorrow. So you have your breakfast tracked in for the week. It makes it so much easier. This is a little like tip and hack that we can use. All your meals, if you want to add another meal, it will be here where you click add meal, right? What you can do with this meal, if it's all tracked in and completed, click complete. It will hide it a little bit, okay? Every meal will be broken down and it'll show your protein, your calories, your protein, your carbs and your fats, okay? And as you add in, it will change the quantity here. So you'll see how much, on this side is how much you have, your target is, this is how much you've consumed, okay? And then your little chart will go here. When you have completed a day, make sure at the end of the day you click complete. So when I'm looking at your food log, I know that that day is fully tracked in and completed. If you don't click complete, it will say not tracked on my end. So I will assume that day we didn't track in everything that we've consumed, okay? So just super important that we do that. So like I said, the circle shows the remaining targets left to hit. Make sure to press complete at the end of the day, okay? And make sure you're tracking in as you go or in advance and follow it like a menu. No tracking 2 days after, girls, because I'm telling you, you might eat the same thing every day, but you're not going to remember exactly the measurements, okay? Even me, myself, I eat the same thing every day. I still couldn't tell you exactly to a T what I ate yesterday, okay? When it comes to weighing, we're looking at weighing our food. Is it cooked or raw weight? And I get this a lot. We always want to weigh our food raw. Why? Because when we cook meats, they lose water. When we cook carbs, they gain water. And all the back of the packaging is typically nutritional value is as sold, which means it's raw form. Okay, so make sure you're weighing it raw. Put your pasta on the scales, press 0, weigh it raw, then cook it. Okay. No cups, no no tablespoons, teaspoons. They're not accurate, right? And I'm going to say, I've said this over and over and over, and yet I always see it. So make sure it is in grams. If I had 1 cent for every time I've said that, I actually would be a billionaire. Not even joking. Right. So what we want to do here as well is check the back of the packaging. Check what the serving size is coming up as. Is it matching what's coming up on the app? Does it say as sold or cooked? And there might be some foods that will come up as cooked. Majority will come up as sold, which means we need to weigh in its raw form prior to cooking, okay? So benefits of tracking, which is obviously really, really important here as well. Tracking is a tool. It gives us education and awareness around food and food value, okay? Helps us to understand nutrients versus calorie dense foods. Better education in our food means better nutritional choices, okay? And main thing here is that it is a tool for your toolbox. It's not everything, but if we can get a really good grip and understanding of tracking nutrients, calories, we will actually benefit a lot longer term and know how to actually manage meals better, okay? Tracking works and tracking doesn't work. And when tracking works, it's when you're doing this. You're weighing your food every day, including the nibbles, the licks, the sips, the bites. They all add up. I know you're thinking, oh, it's not that much. When you add them all up, that could be literally 500 calories and you're wondering why you're not dropping body fat in your deficit. Make sure you weigh in everything, okay? Double check the back of the packaging with the data on the screen, especially if you haven't used the food before, because sometimes they don't match, okay? It is that the nutrition on the app is verified, but there is also people adding in their own bits as well. And sometimes it's tracked in wrong. And tracking works when you adhere fully 7 out of 7 days to your calories and macro targets, okay? Tracking doesn't work when you're guesstimating. You're looking at it going, you know what, that's probably about 50 grams of pasta when it's actually 100. Make sure you're not eyeballing, okay? Track in, weigh in to make it more accurate. Logging in everything at the end of the day is more like closing your eyes and trying to pin the tail on the donkey. You don't really get very successful with it, do you? Okay, so make sure you're tracking in as you go or in the morning time and follow it like a menu and review and go, okay, what did I need to put into that now? Okay, I actually tracked in 70 grams of pasta for later. I'll cook 70 grams of pasta, okay? So make sure you're tracking your food prior to eating. Make sure you're tracking in proper measurements. No cups, no spoons, no tablespoons. I've said that 3 times now and I probably will need to say it again, okay? So make sure you need to think of me every time you're tracking going grams, 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 okay? When we're tracking a meal out, and I will help you with this along the way, we want to break it down ingredient by ingredient. If we just search up beef burger, it's not going to be accurate, right? We need to break it down. So if we look at this, we look at, okay, we have a bun burger here, brioche bun, roughly around 200 calories. We have beef burger here, roughly around 250 calories. We have cheese here. There's always going to be a little bit more cheese, 150 calories, give or take. Sauces, probably around the 50 grams. Oils, because we need to cook this burger, probably around 100 grams of oil, okay? So just something to bear in mind on that side is like we want to break it down ingredient by ingredient to make it more accurate. If you're struggling with meals out and tracking, obviously we'll run through that in advance, and I have a full masterclass on meals out, so we will run through it in there. Little tips as well, if you are going for meals out, save calories with sugar-free drinks. You don't always have to go for the healthiest option, but we can make conscious choices. Sauces on the side, look for your lean meats, look for ones that aren't going to be covered in oil, or look at how they're cooked. So like the likes of a baked potato rather than mashed potato. And just be mindful when you're eating as well, okay? If we're eating out, we can aim to eat more protein earlier in the day because most meals out are mainly carbs, okay? So if you push more protein in the morning, it'll help us feel fuller for longer and we won't be starving prior to that meal out, okay? At the end of the day, when it comes to tracking, what gets tracked gets measured. If we're not doing 100%, girls, we're not going to see progress, right? And you can pretend that you're tracking 100%. You can say you're tracking 100%. You can know deep down you're not tracking 100%. But we will know from the data. If we're not tracking 100%, we're not going to see the progress, okay? And I'm not going to make it harder for you to drop calories more if we're not sticking to them in the first place, okay? So you're just going to delay your own progress with that, and we don't want that, okay? So tracking is a tool. It's not a long-term thing. It's a pain in the ass to start, but it's great for awareness, education, developing better skills around food, and then food measurements as well. So use your tracking time wisely, okay? Reminders here, weigh in grams, weigh raw form, and make sure to complete your diary each day, okay? Press the complete button at the bottom of the page so I know that's fully tracked in and we're not missing anything. If there's a day where, let's say you have a meal out or you have something that you don't end up tracking in, if you leave it as not tracked, I'll know, okay, there's actually more than the data that's here. And if you're not sure on how to track something, just ask me, okay? This is a journey where we're going to learn how to do these as we go. Although I don't expect you to know everything, but I'm going to help you to make sure that we can make the most out of our tracking time and smash our goals, okay? Any questions, just shout. Chat to you soon.